Elon Musk slept on factory floors, not because he had to, because comfort was too expensive. Warren Buffett still lives in the same house he bought decades ago, not because he's cheap, because he understands leverage. Larry Ellison dropped out of college, not because he quit, because he chose obsession over permission. Mark Zuckerberg wore the same outfit every day. Fewer decisions, more focus. Jeff Bezos started with doors as desks. No image, only progress. Steve Ballmer didn't win by being the smartest. He won by being relentless. Here's the truth nobody tells you. They didn't win because they were special. They won because they didn't live like everyone else. And if you're struggling financially right now, if it feels like no matter how hard you work, nothing changes, it's not bad luck, it's habits. Invisible habits, habits that feel normal. Habits that quietly keep people stuck for decades. Today I'm exposing 3 of them. Ignore this video, and 5 years from now will look exactly like today. Same stress, same pressure, same limits. Stay with me, and you'll never see money the same way again. Toxic habit 1, comfort first thinking. Let's get brutally honest. Comfort feels harmless. Comfort feels earned. Comfort feels justified. And comfort is quietly destroying momentum. Nobody wakes up and says, I'm going to sabotage my future today. They say something else. I'll start tomorrow. I'm tired right now. I just need a break. Sounds reasonable, sounds human, sounds expensive. Comfort first thinking is choosing relief over results. It's choosing easy over effective. It's choosing now over later. And later always sends the bill. Here's how it sneaks in. Long day, low energy, decision fatigue. Your brain wants relief, fast relief, not progress, not growth. Relief. So you scroll, you order, you upgrade, you delay one small choice, then another, then a pattern. And patterns become lifestyles. Here's the danger. Comfort never announces itself as a problem. It disguises itself as self-care. But real self-care builds capacity. Comfort drains it. Think about this. Every meaningful upgrade in your life came from discomfort, learning something hard, saying no when it felt awkward, showing up when motivation was gone. Growth was uncomfortable. So why do people run from it? Because comfort rewards you immediately. Growth rewards you later. And most people are trained to chase now. Short-term relief hijacks, long-term vision. That's the trap. I once watched someone work non-stop. No days off, always busy, but stuck. Why? They avoided the discomfort of changing strategy. They stayed busy because being busy felt productive. Comfortable struggle. No risk, no stretch, no leap. Just motion without progress. Are you tired? Or are you avoiding the next level of responsibility? Because growth demands energy, and comfort drains it. Comfort says, don't rock the boat. Growth says, build a bigger one. Here's another truth. Comfort makes small costs invisible. 10 here, 20 there, hours lost. Focus diluted, not painful enough to stop, but painful enough to keep you stuck. It's not the big mistakes that trap people. It's the small, repeated comforts, the extra convenience, the skipped conversation, the delayed decision. Comfort keeps life predictable. Predictability keeps life small. And here's the real cost. Comfort lowers standards. You stop asking what's possible. You start asking what's acceptable. That shift is deadly because acceptable never builds freedom. Only standards do. Standards force better questions. Standards create leverage. Comfort avoids all 3. Let me hit you with this. Discomfort is not the enemy. Avoiding it is. Discomfort is temporary. Regret is patient. Regret waits quietly. Years later, when options are fewer, when energy is lower, when change costs more. But tomorrow? Tomorrow belongs to the disciplined. So here's the shift. Stop asking what feels good right now. Start asking what strengthens me. One builds relief. The other builds power. And power creates choice. That's the game. Not luxury, not appearances, not easy, choice. The ability to say yes or no on your terms. Comfort first thinking steals that quietly, unless you interrupt it. Right now. Because the next choice you make today is either training your future to be stronger or training it to stay the same. Choose wisely. Toxic habit 2, avoiding money decisions. This habit hides in plain sight. It doesn't shout. It whispers. I'll deal with it later. Later becomes months. Months become years. Years become regret. Avoiding money decisions feels safe. Looking away feels calm, but calm is not control. Silence is not stability. Avoidance creates chaos slowly. Most people don't lose money fast. They lose it quietly. Missed details, unasked questions, unnoticed leaks. Not dramatic, not obvious, just constant. Here's why avoidance wins. Money triggers emotion, pressure, fear, embarrassment. So the brain chooses escape. Scroll past the statement. Ignore the alert. Delete the reminder. Temporary relief. Permanent damage. Avoidance is not laziness. It's emotional protection. But protection from discomfort also blocks progress. Think about this. Anything you don't inspect will weaken. Health, relationships, skills, money is no different. If you don't look, you don't lead. And if you don't lead, something else will. Systems love silence. Fees don't announce themselves. Interest never asks permission. They just accumulate, slowly, relentlessly. Here's the painful truth. Nobody is managing your money for your benefit. They manage it for efficiency, efficiency for them, convenience for you. Convenience costs more. Every automatic choice trades control for comfort, and comfort has a price. I've seen people panic over small expenses, not because they were expensive, because they had no clarity. Uncertainty creates stress. Clarity dissolves it. Most stress around money isn't about lack. It's about confusion. Confusion breeds fear. Fear fuels avoidance. And the cycle continues. Let me tell you a story. A man once told me, I make good money, but I feel broke. Not because he lacked income, because he lacked awareness. He didn't know where his money went, so it controlled him. The moment he started looking, not judging, not fixing, just seeing, something changed. Confidence returned. Power returned. Because clarity creates momentum. You can't improve what you refuse to face. Avoidance keeps you reactive. Reaction is exhausting. Decision-making is empowering. There's a massive difference. Reactive people live in surprise. Leaders live in intention. And intention requires decisions. Small ones, consistent ones, not perfect, present. Here's another hard question. When was the last time you intentionally reviewed your financial direction? Not glanced, reviewed, with focus, with honesty. If the answer feels uncomfortable, that's your signal. Discomfort is feedback. It's pointing to growth. Avoiding money decisions doesn't eliminate risk. It multiplies it. Because time amplifies everything. Good decisions grow. Bad decisions grow too. The only neutral choice is engagement. You don't need to master everything. You need to show up. 10 minutes, once a week, looking, tracking, deciding. That habit compounds faster than income. Because awareness creates leverage, and leverage changes outcomes. Stop hoping things will improve. Hope is passive. Decide to participate, because the moment you stop avoiding, you stop leaking power. And power changes the trajectory of your life. The question isn't, do I have time to decide? The question is, how much is avoidance already costing me? Answer that honestly, and you'll never look away again. Toxic habit 3, a broken money identity. This one is silent, invisible, and brutal, because it lives in your language, in your jokes, in your excuses, in your inner voice. I'm just not good with money. Numbers stress me out. People like me don't get ahead. Sounds casual. It's not. Those sentences are commands. Your brain hears them and gets to work, not to help you, to prove you right. Identity is powerful. Stronger than motivation, stronger than willpower, stronger than information. You don't rise to your goals, you fall to your identity. That's the trap. A broken money identity doesn't scream failure. It whispers limitation. So you hesitate, you delay, you underplay your potential. Not because you can't do better, because doing better would violate who you believe you are. Let that sink in. Most people don't sabotage success consciously. They protect identity subconsciously. If struggle is familiar, progress feels dangerous. If chaos feels normal, stability feels uncomfortable. So people self-correct. Back to what feels known. Back to what feels them. I've seen people get opportunities they prayed for. Miss deadlines. Avoid responsibility. Create problems. Why? Because success required a new identity, and they hadn't upgraded it yet. Here's the hard truth. Money problems are rarely math problems. They are belief problems. Beliefs shape behavior. Behavior shapes results. And results reinforce beliefs. That loop runs your life, unless you interrupt it. Most people try to change their actions first. Budget harder, work more, push through. That fails. Because identity always wins. If you see yourself as behind, you'll act behind. If you see yourself as confused, you'll avoid clarity. If you see yourself as unlucky, you'll miss patterns. So here's the real work. Not forcing confidence. Rewriting identity. Identity doesn't change with hype. It changes with evidence. Small wins. Intentional actions. Proof. You don't need to say, I'm great with money. That feels fake. Say this instead. I'm learning. I'm improving. I make better decisions than I used to. That's believable. And belief unlocks behavior. Behavior creates momentum. Momentum rewires identity. This is how change actually happens. Slow at first, then fast. Here's another angle. Many people attach morality to money. Good or bad, clean or dirty, deserved or undeserved. That creates conflict, and the mind avoids conflict. So growth stalls. Money is not a character test. It's a tool, a magnifier. It reveals habits, not worth. Detach emotion. Attach responsibility. That shift is freeing, because responsibility is empowering. Blame is paralyzing. Victim language feels safe, but it locks doors. Ownership feels heavy, but it opens options. And options change everything. Let me ask you something uncomfortable. Who do you become when money enters the room? Anxious? Defensive? Dismissive? That reaction is learned. And anything learned can be unlearned, but only if you're willing to see it. Broken identity survives on autopilot. Upgraded identity requires intention. You must choose it. Daily, through action, through language, through standards. Stop saying what you've always said. Stop joking about staying stuck. Stop bonding over limitations. Speak differently. Act deliberately. Build evidence. Because the moment your identity shifts, your decisions follow. And when decisions change, so does your future. This isn't about becoming someone else. It's about becoming who you've been avoiding. The version that takes responsibility. The version that learns fast. The version that doesn't hide. That version is already there, waiting. The only question left is this. Are you willing to let go of the story that's keeping you small? Or will you protect it at the cost of everything else? The final wake-up decision. Pause for a moment. Don't rush. This is the part most people skip. And it's the part that decides everything, because information doesn't change lives. Decisions do. Right now, nothing is stopping you. No alarms, no deadlines, no pressure. And that's the danger. Because comfort returns fast. Old habits rush back in. The mind wants familiarity. Familiar feels safe. Safe feels normal. Normal keeps you stuck. You've just seen the patterns. Comfort over growth. Avoidance over ownership. Identity over intention. 3 habits. Invisible. Powerful, relentless. They don't destroy your life loudly. They drain it quietly, one day at a time. You don't notice the loss today. You notice it years from now. When energy is lower, when options are fewer, when change costs more. That's when regret speaks. Regret is calm. Regret is patient. Regret waits. But here's the shift. You're not broken. You're trained. Trained to seek relief. Trained to avoid discomfort. Trained to accept labels. Training can be changed. But only with standards, not wishes, not motivation, standards. A standard says, this is who I am now. A standard says, I don't negotiate with my future. This is the moment where most people nod, then do nothing. They feel inspired. They feel understood. And they stay the same. Don't do that. Because awareness without action is self-betrayal. And self-betrayal is expensive. Let me ask you a question. What happens if nothing changes? Not next week, not next month, 5 years from now. Same income, same stress, same conversations, same someday. How heavy does that feel? Now ask the harder question. What happens if today becomes the turning point? Not a massive leap, a standard, one uncomfortable choice, one honest look, one upgraded sentence you refuse to say again. That's how momentum starts, quietly, but powerfully. You don't need confidence, you need commitment. Confidence comes later. After action, after proof, after consistency. Stop waiting to feel ready. Ready is a lie. Action creates readiness. Here's what separates those who break through. They decide once, and they stop debating. No more, I'll try. No more, I should. They move, even when it's awkward. Even when it's slow. Even when nobody claps. Because they understand something most people don't. Your future is built in private, in small moments, in uncomfortable choices, in the standards you keep when no one is watching. This is your moment to interrupt the pattern, to choose growth over relief, ownership over avoidance, identity over excuses. You don't need a perfect plan. You need a line in the sand. Draw it now. Because when this video ends, life will test your decision. The scroll will tempt you. The noise will return. The old voice will whisper. Later. Don't listen. Later is where dreams go to stall. Now is where power lives. So decide. Not emotionally, not dramatically. Decide with calm certainty. I move forward, and then take the smallest action that proves it, because that action changes the story. And once the story changes, everything follows. Stay sharp. The next choice decides more than you think. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, my friends.